What's going on, good people? Once again, Armand Owens here, the Young Sun Leader Daily Nuggets. Once again, today is the 5th of May, and today I want to change it up just a little bit. Leave you with something to ponder as I'm talking. Trade your expectations for appreciation. What does that mean? Well, when I first started off as a leader, I had a picture in my head, a blueprint, if you will, of how things should be. I was convinced, based on my observations, based on my reality, this is how things should be. X should be over here, Y should be right there, Z should be this way. I had this picture, this paradigm, this blueprint, and I was sold out to it. I was so sold out that I completely disregarded reality. Completely disregarded reality, because the truth about most high performers is that we are control freaks. We're control freaks. We want this pen to be at 180 degrees, 90 degrees. We want it perfect, absolutely perfect. It cannot be any other way, because this is the model that we subscribe to. We are responsible for making sure that this thing comes to be as we see it, because we know what right looks like in every situation. But our expectations, they don't actually match reality. And it's complicated because there's a wide gap a lot of times between what our expectations are versus our reality. And what exists in this area between our expectations and reality, nothing but pain, nothing but stress, nothing but frustration, nothing but anger, nothing but hurt, nothing but insecurity. Because we were resisting reality. We're resisting what is actually occurring. And amazingly enough, as we live in this area of frustration and anger and hurt and insecurity, our ability to really respond to what's happening in reality becomes not. So because we're living in this gray area that's clouded by our own expectations, we can never actually do anything about reality and move that forward, because we're so caught up on should, but they should. He's been in the Navy for 14 years. He should already. She's been working on this for hours. She should. Should indicates a presupposition in our heads about our reality and our belief and our expectations. And they don't line up. So we get angry. We get frustrated. We start to micromanage. Get all involved. Even though inherently we know that the people that we assign to the project have the complete ability to do what we want them to do. But it may just not be going the way that we see or we think that they should go. So we get angry, we get frustrated. This is how this manifests in our own personality, in our own, emotions. So going back to the original statement, trade your expectations for appreciation. I'm not saying accept anything less than what you expect. What I'm saying is understand that what's happening in reality may not line up with your blueprint. It may not line up with your expectations. So you need to be appreciative of where you actually are. Accept where you actually are. Yes, I have this blueprint in my head about how I think things should go. Things are not that way. That's your first steps. Acknowledging and realizing that it's not that way. This is what I have in my head. Reality is not what's matching what's in my head. Okay, how do I respond next? Well, acknowledge reality for what it is. I think we should be doing 10 times more than what we're doing. We're only doing X amount. Okay, acknowledge that we're doing X amount. Because when you acknowledge it, you remove that blueprint that you have in your mind, and you remove that attachment, you remove that resistance, and you say, okay, this is actually where we are. You acknowledge reality for what it is. This is where we actually are. My division isn't performing where I think they should be. Here's their qualifications aren't tracking. Our training isn't tracking. The results aren't where I want them. Acknowledge that, because saying should is still you're still resisting. Acknowledging that reality is saying, okay, this is where we actually are. Okay, God. Because in that state, in that appreciative state, in that understanding state, you can say, all right, what do I need to do from here to get to my expectation? Because if you never acknowledge where you are, you're never going to be able to get to where you want to be. The acknowledgement of the reality is the key. Get rid of the resistance, right? Acknowledge it, and now you can actually do something about it. Because in that previous state, you couldn't do anything about it. All you're doing is shouldn't all over the place. You're shouldn't all over yourself. Stop shouldn't all over yourself. Get to a point where you're acknowledging reality, where you're acknowledging, hey, I know this is my blueprint. This is a picture I had in my head. It's not working out this way. This is my reality. And now you can actually do something about it, because you're no longer living in that make-believe world where your expectation is reality. Trade your expectations for appreciation. That was free. Talk to you tomorrow. Unsung Leader out.